Nigerian TV Online. We are in the Virginia and on the borderline of Virginia and South Carolina. North Carolina. We're down south. Deep. We're here to talk to a very interesting reverend about what is going on in Nigeria. And the Bani, the women, we have a problem. And most of you know we have had this problem for some time. But we have not yet been able to put the right people together to tackle this problem. It is by the grace of God we are here now. The women, my brothers, my sister, I will speak in Igbo, and my guests will also speak in Igbo. Let me give you a synopsis of who we have. He is Reverend Columba Aham Nnorom, and if I pronounce the name wrong, when he comes on the site, he will give it to you better. A very brief profile of 2 pages, so you understand we don't have just anybody. He is a pastor, an experienced pastor of many years. A pastor, St. Peter's the Apostle Catholic Church, Lake Gaston, Virginia, and St. Richard Catholic Church in Emporia, Virginia. A parochial vicar, St. Matthew's Catholic Church, also in Virginia. A chaplain, or Chaplain McGuire's Veteran Medical Center, Richmond, Virginia. Fort Lee Army, look. This reverend has a PhD in political science from Howard University in Washington, D.C., specialized in American government and politics, international relations, and African politics. My dear brothers and sisters, we are honored to have this reverend as our guest. Give him your attention. He has something to tell you. Something to tell you, something to say, something, we must do. The time is here. The time is now. Allow me to introduce to you Reverend Columba Aham Nnorom. Reverend.
Thank you very much.
Come in, sir. How are you, sir?
Oh, good. Thank you very much.
God bless you, sir. How are you?
I'm fine.
Huh?
Yes.
Welcome to Nigerian TV Online.
It's a pleasure.
Internet television. We reach the world.
Yes.
And the world needs to hear you.
Thank you.
God bless you, sir.
Thank you very much.
If I did anything by saying something wrong, can you correct me?
Well, not very much. I think you did very well. But I've been a professor at various universities here in the United States, and I think that is also part of my profile. Okay.
My dear brothers and sisters, Reverend, we have a problem. And we have had this problem for some time. But we have not been able to mobilize the right people to face this issue head on. In Nigeria, and this is just for all of you, government officials, political officials, ministers everywhere in the world. Igbo people are getting killed. So, what is going on? What must we do?
Well, I just came back from Nigeria a few weeks ago, and what is happening in Nigeria in terms of the massacre of Igbos, of the Igbo and other Christians, is a quiet tragedy that is not really being covered by the media. The media is covering only part of it. Most of them say Christians, but the majority of the people getting killed are Igbo. And the Igbo don't seem to be reacting to it. I was in Mandala, in Niger State. The scene of the Christian Christmas Day bombing, I was there. I saw the damage, horrible damage. I spoke to the pastor of the church. Overwhelmingly, the victims of that tragedy were Igbo. People don't seem to realize it. The people who were killed, about 44 people or more, were Igbo. It's a terrible tragedy.
Most people in the world, they heard about this bombing that took place on New Year's Eve.
Yes.
So what you're saying to us here and now is that the majority of the people that were killed, the Christians that were killed by this terrorist group, were Igbo.
Yes, they're Igbo. And it is part of a pattern of killings that have been going on in Nigeria since 1945. It looks like when you kill the Igbo, it looks like you are killing a chicken. And the Igbo keep quiet. Our intellectuals and our professional class, many of them keep quiet. Either they have, I don't know what they're afraid of. One day they will have to die. But it is time for them to stand up and organize, especially those here in the United States. Organize like the Ethiopians organized and brought their people, saved their people. The way the Southern Sudanese organized, the way the South Africans organized, the way various national groups in America organized using the American political process to help their people. My question to Igbo academics and professionals and workers in America is this. Why are you silent when the people are getting killed in droves? Why are you silent when many Igbo refugees are fleeing northern Nigeria and languishing in the towns and villages?
As we are speaking now.
As we are speaking, I met many of them when I went to
Exodus of Umuigbo. Going back to the east.
Yes. I think it is time. Igbo, especially those in America, people at home think salvation is going to come to them from here in the United States. Because they know that America is a great country, that we can influence things in Nigeria from here. But Igbo are so smart, but so disorganized. At times I'm really ashamed of our people here in the United States for keeping quiet while the people are getting killed and not organizing properly. The Igbo man will fight for the Sudanese and they will fight for the South Africa, but they won't fight for their own people. That's a tragedy, man. It's a tragedy. And it is time to change it, to reverse this terrible trend. Okay?
Yes.
All right, thank you.
I guess, you know, this is so disheartening. It is so painful. Our women and our children are getting systematically killed. And in the Igbo in our United States and in diaspora are saying nothing. Reverend, please help me. What should we specifically be getting ready to do now?
Well, I don't expect the Igbo in the United States. And by the way, we have some of the most highly educated and exceptionally successful human beings in America here in the United States who are Igbo. You find them everywhere, from the Pentagon to NASA to universities. Okay? But they don't seem to apply their positions for the benefit of their own people. What we expect them to do is not to reinvent the wheel. We say, do for Ndi Igbo what the Sudanese in America did for their people. Do for the Ndi Igbo what the Yorubas in America did for their people that helped the Yorubas to elect Obasanjo. They organized, they marched, they spent time and money. Do for our people what the Somalis in the U.S. are doing for their people. That is organize their people here in the United States to help those at home. Do for our people what the Liberians have done for their people, the Liberians in the United States have done for their people back home. Do for our people what the South Africans. I was very heavily involved in the anti-apartheid movement. I demonstrated, I planned, organized, okay, for the South Africans. And I know some Igbo professors and did participate, or at least talk about it. But when it comes to the killing of the massacre of their own people,
they step aside.
They keep quiet.
Keep quiet.
Have they become cowards? Are Igbos, are these people, are they cowards? What are they afraid of, man? What are you? You are going to die one day. You will die one day, but it's better for you to die for what is right and just than just to die like a rat.
Reverend, let me ask you, in terms of organizational planning, I understand that there will now be a meeting of clergy and calling of all the clergies in many states. Can you give us some details of this plan and how it's going to work?
Well, when they kill the Igbo, or when Boko Haram kills Igbo people in northern Nigeria, they don't ask you whether you are Catholic or Methodist or Presbyterian. They don't. They just kill you.
They just kill you.
Okay? They just kill you. So I think it is time for the clergy to lead this movement, because the movement is targeted as Christians, at Igbo Christians and other Christians in Nigeria. So what we expect from the clergy, number one, is leadership. Leadership. We want them to use their churches and use their places to organize our people here in the United States. Organize them, number one, to use the American political process. By that I mean meeting our senators and congressmen and telling them what is happening to our people so that they can raise the issue in Congress. Telling their fellow churchmen, their fellow Christian clergymen about the tragedy that is happening to our people. Tell them and seek help from them. Okay? That was what Christian churches did for the Southern Sudanese. So much so that the U.S. government even went there and airlifted thousands of them here, and the churches helped to do that.
So what you're asking the pastors of all the various churches is to not only talk about it in church, but will there be a conference called? Are you calling for a conference?
Oh yes, I am. I think Christian ministers from Igbo land and also other parts of Nigeria who are Christians, who are really horrified by the massacre of Christians in Nigeria, we should come together and find ways and means of, number one, exposing this quiet genocide that is taking place. It is quiet. I mean by quiet is the news covers it once in a while and that's it. But the damage continues for years. People have lost their homes, lost their lives, lost their husbands, lost their children, lost their property, and nobody seems to be doing anything about it. So first of all, we need leadership from the clergymen. Because this is really a spiritual thing. Because the Muslims are not attacking, they're not attacking the forest, they're attacking churches, first and foremost. So they know it is a spiritual struggle. So that's what the first thing we want from them. We want them to raise money. When I was in Nigeria, I gave the last dollar I had, I gave it to some of the refugees from the north, whom I didn't expect them. I went to the villages. I didn't expect any refugees there from the north who are Igbo. But I saw them and they told me their stories. One man told me that he had houses in the north, but he had to flee for his life because the houses have been destroyed. And he came back with his wife and children. And the man is now a pine wine tapper at home. He's almost on the verge of committing suicide. There are so many people like him throughout Igbo land. They are anonymous. Nobody seems to see them. But they are there. They are dying quietly. And I'm telling the Christian leaders, especially the Igbo Christian leaders, to really take this in seriously, get together and rescue our people.
If you're going to put together a conference of Christian leaders, what is the time frame for this? What is called? Over the next 2 weeks, over the next 3 weeks, What's the time frame?
Well, when we meet, we're going to coordinate first, talk to the ministers, and I'm really appealing to all Igbo ministers and other Nigerian ministers who are interested to talk to each other and get in touch with us, get in touch with you.
Get in touch with you.
Okay, good. That is fine with me.
Tell them if they wanted to get in touch with you.
Yes.
Every minister.
Yes.
And I don't think he's saying one or two. All of you.
All of you. All of you.
How would they get in touch with you?
Well, call my cell phone number. It's 804-822-7484. Call my cell phone number or get in touch with this particular organization also. I think there's nothing wrong with it. Get in touch with the heads of Igbo organizations because we intend to inform leaders of Igbo organizations here in the United States about this coming conference. It's going to be a unique conference, really, because it's going to be a first conference on the massacres of our people in Nigeria.
Political people in the United States are also talking about what is going on in terms of all these killings that is taking place in Nigeria, and that is some of the senators, some of the congressmen in this country, they're talking about it. Would you like to say something to them? Let them know somehow that the clergy leaders are not going to be sitting down?
Oh, yes. Yes, I think we are standing up now. We think this is our responsibility, not only to our God and to our church, but to our people and to humanity. What is being wasted in the North, the lives of one of the brightest people, children, women, men, you find anywhere. And we ministers will stand up. At least myself, I'm going to say from now. I've been doing this quietly, privately before, but now I'm glad that other ministers will join us so that this issue is taken care of as soon as possible. This is an emergency.
Reverend, there are people at home in Nigeria who just simply don't know what to do. Yes. Clergies as well. Well, what advice would you give to those clergymen, and even just to the ordinary Igbo person that is running around in the North? What advice would you give them to save their lives?
Well, for the clergy back home, I'm glad some of them already are doing something. Some of them are helping out, organizing. But what I would like to tell them is, don't be afraid. It's part of your calling to save lives. It's part of your calling to clothe the naked. It's part of your calling to help the sick. It's part of your to feed the hungry. It's part of your calling, okay? You cannot just be preaching every Sunday. Faith without action is dead. Faith without works. And I want them not to be afraid. When you're working for God, don't be afraid. Because God is going to protect you. Or even, if something happens to you, it is better to die fighting for what is right than sit down there and watch people's lives be destroyed. So what I'm telling you is to take courage. For the average Igbo man or woman who is terrified, and I tell you, I was home, many of them are terrified. They always say, what can we do? And people are helpless. Many of them are very helpless. They're hungry. There is a lot of hunger back home. And unfortunately, some of those who have the means are not talking about this thing. They are afraid to lose their contracts. They are afraid to lose their friends.
Yes.
They are afraid to lose money. So it means that these people are selling their own people for their own selfish interests. And that is a crime against the Igbo people. It's a crime. And I'm telling you to get out of it. Stop this criminal. It's criminal behavior to sell the interest or the life of your own people in order to benefit you materially.
Reverend, it's just one more really good, strong question, I think. Ndeze juleju ebe niile, and ndeze ne kunka also. What advice would you give Ndeze? I mean, they play a role.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
What would you tell them to do at this critical moment where things are happening?
Well, I've met some Ndeze who are very good. I have to say that. Some of them have been very supportive of people. Some of them have spoken out really, very courageously about the massacres. And I've told Igbos to organize better, okay? But we need the Ndezes to be real leaders. We want to help out these refugees who are coming back, to help them out, to sensitize our people to the need to help them. That's the number one thing I would like our Ndeze to do. Number two, I want them to not to be too afraid. I know a lot of Ndezes depend on the government. Unfortunately, they are tied to the government. A lot of them are. But I tell you, don't be too afraid to help out. Because if you do help out, if you have the support of your people, and if you help them, if they help people out, they will support you. And I tell you, you will be less vulnerable than when you sell out. Absolutely.
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Reverend, first let me thank you for stepping up in this leadership position. And I can assure you that all Nigerians are very proud of what is to come. Biko, take a moment. Thank you. I really thank you. I thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
It's about time, don't you think?
It is.
That somebody stepped up to the plate and said, enough is enough.
Thank you very
Biko,
much. Well,
I will step out of this interview.
yes.
Yes.
Okay, before I say any prayers,
Yes.
I want to thank you for the wisdom. What you have done now is wisdom. You really have used this medium, which is very powerful, to send out our message. And that's what has been lacking since this series of massacres. We have never had this opportunity to send out the story of these horrible deeds to the world. That is a wonderful thing, and I ask God to bless you. And I'll say a little prayer for our people,
And I'll be back while he's praying.
Yes, for the families, Igbo families, and other families who have lost their ones. I will ask the Lord to bless them, to strengthen them. Let them take courage and not be afraid. I want them to know that God is able, even in times of difficulties, in times of massacres, that our God is able and capable to give them strength to overcome. I pray that God will open the treasures of those who have the wherewithal, the money, to help these refugees and people who have lost dear ones, to make their lives a little bit better. I will ask the Lord to give wisdom to the Igbo people, indeed to all Christian peoples in Nigeria, indeed to all Christian peoples in the world, to work together, to stamp out this evil that is trying to destroy our people. We ask the Lord finally to keep us safe, so that just as we have gotten together this afternoon, He will be with us as we march forward, doing His work and glorifying His name. Thank you very much, and God bless you.
God bless you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much
thank you.
for this moment. We'll be seeing you
Okay.
at the organization table,
Thank
whenever
you.
it is.
Thank you very much.
This is Chief Obidike Ajuluchuku of Nigerian TV Online. Wake up. Wake up. No matter who you are, wake up. We can no longer sit still and let our people die senselessly. It's time. Now is the time. Until then, sir, we'll meet you at the organization table. This is Chief Obidike Ajuluchuku of Nigerian TV Online. God bless you. Stay aware.